Afternoon, ladies and gents. We are here at Hoover Dam. We left Las Vegas about an hour ago, give or take, and yeah, we're now here at the slightly smaller than I anticipated, but equally very large Hoover Dam. And you can see down there, that's the main face of the dam, all told, and you can see some of the electrical equipment down there that they use to power Las Vegas. And of course on the other side of the dam, when we get over there, is Lake Mead, which provides all of the water for Las Vegas and the surrounding towns, which is a fairly amazing amount of water, it must be said. So here we've got Lake Mead. Here's the backside of the dam, and the towers. I don't think they're structural. I'll have to look up what they're actually used for. But you can see, if we look across beyond the netting that crosses the lake there, you can see the maximum water level that Lake Mead had at its height, and the sheer amount of water that this dam can hold back at its most powerful is astounding. But this lake goes for miles up to the, I think it's the north. But yeah, this is quite an impressive feat of engineering. But despite the impressive feat of engineering, there are still cracks in the foundations of this dam. There's a sort of notice for it. Back along. So if you can imagine the earthquakes that this area gets, with the Farallon plate underneath us, underneath the continental United States, as well as the sort of movements on the Pacific coast, you know, considering this thing was built in the 20s? I think it was the 20s or the 30s, and it's still there and it's largely undamaged. It's quite astounding. Okay, we are now in Arizona. So we've travelled a fair way from the Hoover Dam. Now we're about 100 miles from the Grand Canyon, which sadly it looks like we aren't going to be looking at in daylight, which is a real shame. I was hoping to get some good video there. If we do get there in daylight, I will record something, but if not, this will have to make do. So we're in Arizona, as I say. It's a lot greener than the Mojave Desert, which perhaps shouldn't surprise us. We're not quite so high and we're a bit further east. And what we've got actually is really fascinating. We've got a thunderstorm, which I don't know if you can make much of it out behind me here, but it is fairly sizable. There's some rain falling over there and over there, and it's starting to dissipate a bit now, but there were some fairly impressive lightning strikes coming out of this. Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, I don't think it's tornado season at the moment, so probably thunder rumble. Probably not needing to worry too much about that. But if I just turn around and face you this way, see that CV cloud over there, glaciated at the top. It's starting to lose its more cumuliform base at the moment, but to give you some idea, I don't know what the tropicals is here, but we're a lot further south than the temperate areas of Britain and things, where we'd be talking 20 or 30,000 feet, so I don't know, 45,000 feet maybe. I'll tell you what, I'll try and find out. I'll try and have a look, see if we've got any good tephograms to show you. But yeah, these are the first thunderstorms we've seen. That over there is the first rain I think I've seen since I arrived here in the US. Anyway, my battery's about to die, which means I'm going to have to replace it. As I say, if we get to the Grand Canyon before the sun goes down, I'll just see what I can do about do some nice footage of that. So unfortunately we didn't get to the Grand Canyon before the sun went down, as you can see from the time-lapse that just passed. But we did get some fairly nice photographs in the end, using the clever, but perhaps not quite up to the task, Starry Night setting on my bridge camera, which, as you can see, allowed us to get some fairly nice photographs. They are quite dark, even with the addition of the automatic enhancements that my laptop can do. Because I am not a photographer, I don't actually know how to do this sort of thing in anything like Lightroom or Photoshop or anything like that. But we did get some nice photos. Unfortunately, this is the point at which the road trip's itinerary hit a brick wall with all of the finesse of a plane crash. And from this point on, through Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, all the way back to New York, we didn't actually stop anywhere during daylight hours, apart from a little short stop in Austin. So I don't have any more video from the road trip. So that's it, I'm afraid. I've obviously got some observations to make. I mean, if this trip has taught me anything, it's that you need to have at least some control over the itinerary that's being planned for a trip like this. Tom's itinerary was really good, but he tried to cram far too much stuff into far too short a length of time, which is part of the reason why after the Grand Canyon we had to essentially peg it, really rag it all the way back to New York City in order for me and for Tom's dad to catch our flights back to the UK. But it was a great road trip nonetheless, and what I did get out of it is I now know there are a few places I'd really like to go back to, and a few places I'd actually not be that bothered about. A surprising example for me actually was Texas. I really thought I would enjoy Texas a lot more than I did. Now, admittedly, we didn't stop, so I didn't really catch any of the Texan culture, in which case, maybe there is a reason to go back there. But I just found that driving through Texas, it was a bit like the Great Plains were on my trip last year. It's just flat. There is nothing to see. So that was a surprising one. Louisiana was not as surprising as I might expect. I didn't think cultural stuff isn't really my thing, and we went to Louisiana and we went out to Bourbon Street at night, and I didn't enjoy myself. I ended up going home early. So if I go back to the US, I wouldn't go back to New Orleans again. But the Mojave Desert, the redwood forests, Oregon, obviously Montana, all of these places are now on my list as places to definitely go back to. And I did enjoy the road trip. If I could drive, I would probably think about planning some of these myself. That's not an impetus for me to learn to drive, because driving is one of those things that I have precisely zero interest in learning until our job requires it of me. But yeah, I had a great time. I think everyone else had a great time as well. And with any luck, there might be some more of these in the future. On the video side of things, all of the other videos apart from this one were edited and uploaded on the fly. It's why in previous videos there haven't been any of the time lapses, because they take so long to produce and they take so much computing power that they're just not possible on a laptop in a rickety bus. But I was surprised at how easy it was for me to sit in the back of the bus, even though there wasn't a table, just sit there with my laptop on my lap, editing the video as we went. It surprised me how easy that was, and with data roaming on my contract with 3, which gives me, I think it's a £5 a day passport for unlimited data, or near as darn it unlimited data, I was able to upload the videos as long as we had signal absolutely fine. So maybe doing some more of this next time I go travelling would be good. But as I say, time lapses, I couldn't do them on the fly. I do have a load of other time lapses as well as this one, so I might put those together at some point into a bit more of a video, but they're a bit hit and miss. Because our itinerary didn't really work as well as it could have done, I didn't start them before daylight and end them after the sun went down. So they start at random points during the trip, either when I remembered to put them on or when I was reminded, oh, Ben, you haven't set your camera going. So that's another thing to note for if I ever do this again. But anyway, that's it from the Anglo-American Road Trip 2018. I do hope those of you who have been watching have enjoyed the videos I've been producing, and I would love to hear from you if you had any comments, suggestions for improvement, anything like that you might think I could benefit from. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will probably not see any of you again until Christmas, when I do my Christmas vlog, but we'll see.